We all have the same 24 hours in a day as the most brilliant people on the planet. So what's the difference? It's not magic, it's just that they know how to unlock their brain's full potential. Today, we're going to dive into the hidden power inside your own mind by understanding the simple rules it lives by. You know that feeling, right? You wake up, and it already feels like your brain is running on empty. You sit down to finally focus on that big project, but suddenly there's this storm of distractions. Pings from your phone, the endless social media scroll, or even just your own thoughts bouncing all over the place. It feels like you're in a battle, and honestly, your own brain is the biggest opponent. But now, just imagine this for a second. A day where you wake up feeling completely fresh, your mind is totally clear, and you just flow through your tasks. You finish the day not with that familiar exhaustion, but with this deep feeling of satisfaction, like you were totally in control. This isn't a fantasy, by the way. This is just neuroscience. So how do we get there? Well, here's our roadmap. First, we're going to reset the very foundation of our mental system. Then, we'll get into mastering our attention in this crazy, distracted world. After that, we'll look at how to make new knowledge actually stick. And finally, we'll figure out how to ignite that inner drive to make it all happen. So let's jump in.
Okay, first things first. Before you can even think about optimizing your mind, you've got to build a solid foundation. And that starts with two fundamental rules that are absolutely non-negotiable for peak mental performance.
Let's be honest. How often do we treat sleep like it's a luxury? Something we can cut back on for one more episode or just a little more scrolling. But here's the truth. Sleep isn't just rest. It's a biological necessity. It is your brain's master reset button. While you're asleep, your brain is actually working overtime. It's like a night shift cleaning crew comes in, clearing out all the mental junk from the day, carefully filing away important memories, rebalancing your emotions, and literally clearing the fog so you can think straight in the morning. It's an incredibly active and essential process.
And just look at this contrast. It is night and day. This isn't just some minor improvement. A tired brain means slow, sluggish thinking and an irritable mood. But a rested brain, it operates on a whole different level. Your thinking becomes quick and intuitive, your emotions are stable, motivation feels natural instead of forced, and you get this crystal clarity that's almost effortless.
Okay, the second part of our system reset is movement. We usually think of exercise as something for our bodies, right? For our muscles. But in reality, moving your body is one of the most powerful things you can do for your brain.
This quote really just hits the nail on the head. There's this primal, direct link between physical movement and mental alertness. When you exercise, you're not just working your muscles. You're sending a flood of oxygen to your brain. This triggers a release of awesome neurochemicals, like dopamine, which boosts your motivation, and serotonin, which lifts your mood. It is the fastest way to blow away that mental fog.
All right, so with our physical foundation reset through good sleep and movement, we're ready to go. But now we face maybe the biggest challenge of our modern world, mastering our attention and directing our mental energy where it actually counts.
We have all fallen for the great myth of multitasking. Typing an email while you're on the phone with a video playing in the background. It makes us feel super busy, but at the end of the day, what did we really get done? Here's the thing. Multitasking doesn't combine your energy, it shatters it into a million tiny, useless pieces.
This slide just illustrates the difference perfectly. A multitasking mind is scattered, jumping from thing to thing, producing really shallow work. But a focused mind, it's like a laser beam. It allows you to enter that state of deep work, that awesome zone where you're so locked in on one thing. It's where creativity flows, time just disappears, and you do truly meaningful stuff. In today's world, that kind of focus is a superpower.
Stress. It's the silent killer of productivity. It just creeps in, and we get so used to it that we start to think it's normal. But stress isn't some enemy you have to just ignore or power through. It's a signal. It's your system telling you that something is out of balance. So the crucial point here is that managing stress isn't some complicated strategy. When you feel that inner storm starting to build, just start here. First, just pause. Stop everything. Second, take one single deep breath. And third, just gently ask yourself, what do I actually need right now? It's about listening to the signal instead of just ignoring the alarm bells.
So we've reset our system and we've started to tame our attention. Now, how do we make sure that what we're learning actually stays with us? Let's get into the rules for making knowledge stick for good.
Think of your brain like a muscle.
You wouldn't expect to get a six-pack by doing one sit-up, right? Well, it's the same with your brain. It doesn't store information just because you heard it once. Real learning, the kind that lasts, comes from repetition.
And this is the key insight. We are constantly consuming new information online, articles, videos, you name it, but most of it is temporary because we don't integrate it. True transformation only happens through repetition. Every single time you repeat an action or recall a piece of information, you're making the connections in your brain stronger. It's why you know all the lyrics to a song you've heard 100 times, but never once tried to memorize. What you repeat is what your brain decides is important.
Our brains are basically ancient machines, and they are hardwired for images. We process visual information thousands of times faster than we process text. A picture doesn't just give you data, it gives you emotion, context, and meaning almost instantly.
See what just happened there? Before you even read the words on this slide, I bet your brain was drawn straight to the shape of this chart. That right there is the power of visuals in action. So when you want to learn something, try turning it into a diagram, or a mind map, or even just a quick sketch. Make it visual.
Okay, we have built the foundation, and we've learned the techniques for attention and memory. Now, for our final section, let's talk about the fuel. What is the engine that drives all this forward and creates that unstoppable momentum?
We like to think we're these logical, rational beings, but logic rarely drives us to actually do anything. Emotion does. Logic can create the to-do list, sure, but it's the emotion that provides the fire to actually check things off. If a goal doesn't connect with you on an emotional level, if you don't feel it, it's always going to feel like a chore.
Our final rule might seem a little counterintuitive. We're taught to just work nonstop to grind it out, but our brains operate on these things called ultradian rhythms. These are natural cycles of focus that last for about 90 to 120 minutes. After that, your brain needs a reset. Pushing past that limit doesn't make you more productive, it just leads to burnout.
So there you have it. 8 powerful rules that govern how your brain operates at its absolute best. Don't think of them as just a list. Think of them as a complete toolkit for mastering your own mind. You reset your system with sleep and exercise, you sharpen your focus, you make knowledge stick, and you fuel your drive with emotion and strategic breaks. But remember, knowing these rules is just the first step. Knowledge is totally useless without action.
So I'll leave you with this one final thought. Look back at these 8 rules, and please don't try to do them all at once. That's a recipe for failure. Just pick one. Which single rule, if you truly committed to it starting right now, today, would make the biggest difference in your life? That's it. That's your first step.